Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 mod spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Colt M1911A1 mod, which is being made by user Oh Dear, and what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is that oh so wonderful of pistols, the Colt M1911. And oh, I cannot tell you how happy I am to see this gun in the game, as frankly it just makes sense that we would see it in the Fallout universe, as of course in our own world this was a very, very popular gun, especially thanks to World War II, where it saw massive adoption rates at the military, and of course, after the war, saw a massive following in the civilian market as well. And of course, in the Fallout universe, we have seen this gun a couple of times. First and foremost, back in the original Fallout, when it was an unusable gun that you just saw in a Guns and Bullets magazine, and you got your first actual taste of it in Fallout Tactics as the generic Colt 45. But now we have the full Colt M1911A1 thanks to our glorious modding community, and once you do have this installed and find one of these beautiful things, you will have this lovely standard long Colt M1911A1 pistol, and you'll start finding these in the world at about level 10. You'll have them spawning on gunners, merchants, random loot containers, or of course you could do what I did and cheat it in with console commands. But once you do get your hands on one of these standard pistols, it will do a mere 25 damage, though remember, I always look at these mods without any perks that would affect this, so base level 25 damage, using the 45 ammunition at a firing rate of 66, range of 119, accuracy of 61, and weight of 4.3. So not exactly the greatest of guns, but also not too shabby, frankly, and with a bit of modification, you can get it up to a beautiful 50 damage, with a lovely silencer, good scopes on it, and even some custom paint jobs. And I believe I've mentioned it in a couple of these weapon videos. I really like when they add the custom paint jobs. It just makes it feel more customized and more personal to your own usage. I do enjoy it thoroughly. But yes, this is the most powerful of the versions I was able to create. Only 50, but again, that is without any perks that would affect this weapon. If you did go and get various pistol perks, etc., you should be able to bump that up pretty nicely. Now, as for taking a few shots with this thing, let's do that before we actually do the workbench, because, well, I love the sound on this. I do believe it is a custom sound. There we go, good firing rate, very nice animation on it. Now it is recommended that you use or also download rather, the Pistol Reanimation Pack by Shiny Haxorus. I have not done that because I like looking at these mods without any things that would make them better. I like looking at them as a standard mod on their own. But yes, a good gun, good firing rate, good power to it, and a beautiful animation even without that Pistol Reanimation Pack. Now, as for the silenced one, you're of course just going to have a pretty typical silenced sound. Pretty generic as with most of our other weapons. Now, one thing I want to point out before we actually go into the workbench, we do have scopes, which you'll notice I'm having a problem with. This mod does come in two different downloads, a standard download and a 4K resolution download. Now on the standard one, which is what we're using right now, the scopes don't always work. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they're blacked out, as you can see. I haven't had this problem on the 4K version, but I wanted to show you guys the standard version because I know not everyone can, of course, handle 4K. So it's an oddity, but like I said, it sometimes works, but it's certainly something to worry about, frankly. Now let's actually jump into the weapon workbench, and hopefully I'll actually have them. Oh, thank crap. There we go. Now, as you all have probably seen in previous videos and have probably witnessed yourself, sometimes when you have a modification that will then add an additional category, it doesn't always show, and the only way to get the various scopes on here is by adding a universal rail system. So thankfully we have it on here today, so we'll actually be able to look at those. But let's start up where we usually do, in the receivers. And it's a pretty standard fare here, starting with the standard receiver, going through your typical calibrated, heavy-framed, hair trigger, etc., up to the powerful calibrated one, or rather calibrated powerful receiver, which is the most powerful version that we can get our hands on here, and does some nice critical damage, always good. Now, in the grips, we actually have a couple of different options. We have the standard grip, which is what it'll come with, and then we have 3 different colored grips. All of which are, you know, still technically considered standard. They don't add any new things. They just change the color of the grip right here from a standard sort of brown color to either a polymer black, a polymer olive, or a tan polymer there. So just whatever you're wanting for that color to be, you can switch it around, which is quite nice. In magazines, we have a standard magazine and a quick eject. So just if you want to reload quicker, and who doesn't, you'll probably want that one. Now, in these sights, we will take a look at these real quick. We either have the standard iron sights or an Aimpoint Micro T1 Reflex, an Aimpoint T1 Reflex sight, which is just not micro, I guess, a Delta Point Reflex sight, and an EOTech Reflex sight there. And again, all of them have the same texture issue where they're not entirely see-through sometimes. And again, just with the standard download. Once more, I haven't had this with the 4K download, just on the standard. But yes, they are some nice scopes, though. They look quite cool, just not always usable technically, which is odd, frankly. Now, next we have our different muzzle things, where we have 2 different no muzzle, which I have no idea why, frankly, but we have option of 2 different no muzzles, a Bowers suppressor or just a generic suppressor, whichever you do want to go with. Personally, I'd love to see some other things on here, like some brakes, etc., but oh well, what are you gonna do? It looks like it's actually about to storm in the background. Oh yay. Now the next is the rail system, where you either go with no rail or a universal rail mount, and that is the only way to have the scopes. If you go no rail, you only have iron sights, and that is it. The universal rail system will allow you to actually have rails, which is always nice. And then finally, we have a huge selection of different camouflage finishes, or just colored finishes in general, either a classic dark, classic light, green camo, desert, fancy hunter, and just all sorts of other ones, all the way down to a yellow and red natural camo, which is fun to have. It is a very cool little addition. Like I said, I love when you get paint schemes, because it's just amusing and adds in that little bit of extra personal touch. Now let's actually get out of here now, since we have looked at all these. And oh geez, okay, hold on a moment. Let's actually fix this weather situation here, and of course go to the Fallout commands. 15E. Oop, that's not an E. That is not an E at all. There we are. We're back to clear. You gotta love the Force Weather console command. But yes, and back to the pistols. Now, they are a pretty cool little set of guns, with the one oddity of the scopes. If it wasn't for that, I would say this is one of my favorite gun mods that I've ever used, but because of it, it is kind of weird. I mean, I want to go and do our usual shot on that dog, that poor animal, but I can't. Well, I could by just going into VATS. But I like the scopes. I like the scopes. But what are you gonna do? We still have, though, a very nice selection of different pistols, just with oddly non-functional scopes, but we still get all the rest. And if you are fine with iron sights, you know what? You should be good to go with this. Let's see if we can get it with the iron sights, though. I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you guys. And come on, I want to get the head. I missed. Well, oh my god, die, dog. Well, I'm a horrible shot with iron sights, it would appear. Or just a horrible shot in general. Oh my god, I'm missing him again still. Okay, you know what? He's getting the critical shot with bats. There we go. But the critical shot didn't kill him. Wow, that's actually a first. I've never had a critical shot not kill something. Well, I'll be darned. Let's go and finish this wild mongrel off. He is an odd one. Where did he get to? Hiding in that bush. There he is. Die! Okay, I can't finish the video until we finally kill this guy. And boop, 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 boop. This should finish him. go. Okay. That probably wasn't the greatest of demonstrations for that gun, but remember, folks, it's me showing it off. I'm not the greatest shot in the world, so, yeah, if you could shoot better, you probably would have taken care of him just fine. But yes, overall, it is a fun mod, and even with the oddity with the scopes, I still really would recommend this thing, as it's just a fun gun. So definitely do go check out the Colt M1911A1, which you can take a look at the link in the description of the video for the download. And I do hope you all have enjoyed this video today, and that you do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.